The main purpose of a job interview is for the hiring committee to get to know you and determine if you're a good fit for the role. Their questions will focus mostly on whether you have the experience and talents to excel in the position and if you're a fit for their team or corporate culture. But you also want to prepare and be ready to ask interview questions that will help you make a good decision as to whether or not this position aligns with your goals. In addition to those wonderful questions you're going to ask in your interviews, there are a few things that you want to avoid as well. Here are some ideas of what you'll want to put in each category. It's likely that you'll go through 2 or 3 interviews before you are offered a position or eliminated as a candidate. At each meeting, you need to have questions to ask. Some can be brought up more than once depending on the people you're meeting, or you can have a couple for the phone screen, others for your video interview, and a few for the in-person meeting. The goal is always to have a conversation with plenty of back and forth so you can get to know each other and see if you'll be able to work together. Number 1, can you tell me the top 2 or 3 attributes you are looking for in the person you hire? When it comes to the interview questions, this should be one of the first on your list, and you will want to ask it as soon as possible in the interview process. That's because the answer you receive will help you frame every other response you give throughout this interview, as well as any future meetings you have. By asking this question, you'll set the tone for the interview, show that you're attuned to the company needs, and be able to share you're perfectly fit with exactly what they need. Number 2, why is this position vacant? You are interviewing for this position for a reason. What is that? With this question, you'll learn the reason that they need to fill this role now. Possible scenarios include the position is new and you're initiating it, the last person retired, quit, or was promoted, they fired the last person in the role. Depending on the answer you receive, you will learn a lot about the company, including their expectations for the next person in this role, if they promote from within, or if people stay there a long time. You'll also gain insight into the culture of the company and how they value their employees. Number 3, how do you recognize employees? Celebrating team members says a lot about the culture of a company. When an organization values its employees, they do things to recognize them, whether that is with awards, bonuses, additional benefits, promotions, or even trips. Add this to the list of your interview questions, especially if you are the kind of person who likes to be recognized and rewarded for your contributions. Number 4, what does the onboarding process look like? This is a question many job seekers don't think about asking, but it can tell you a lot about what to expect as you decide if this job is for you. Depending on your level of experience, you may not feel you need a lot of training, but some companies will train you on their methods regardless of what you bring to the table. Other companies hire people they feel will be able to do the job and hand them the tools they need before setting them loose. By adding this to your list of interview questions, you'll learn more of what's expected of you if you are offered and accept this role. Number 5, what will success look like in this position? Having a sense of what you will constitute success in 1 month, 6 months, or the next year can be an important consideration before accepting a new position. Most companies have goals for their employees, and knowing what yours will be will help you know if you are able to meet and exceed them. You could even get more granular with this question, asking something like, what are the upcoming milestones for the person in this role, and how will you measure success? Number 6, what kind of manager would your employees say you are? The likelihood that you'll have your potential manager in the interview is high. Therefore, this is a great time to learn more about their managerial style. A good manager usually has a ready response to this question, but if they don't, be wary. It could mean that they tend to micromanage, so you may want to ask more probing questions to find out if that is the case. In a panel interview, don't put the manager on the spot by asking employees what kind of manager he or she is. Instead, ask. Number 7, what do you like most about working here? When you are meeting with a group of employees, this is one of the most insightful interview questions to ask. It enables you to get information you might not glean from a website or even from talking to the HR person or your potential supervisor. Leave it open-ended so they can respond in any way they choose. Avoid asking the other side of this question. What do you not like about working here? Always keep the interview on the positive side as much as possible. Number 8, is there any reason why you wouldn't consider me moving to the next stage in the process? This question edges up on objections you might need to overcome in an interview. So go through that lesson for more ideas on how to work this into your repertoire. In short, it's a good benchmark to your first question about the top attributes for a successful hire. Hopefully you'll have addressed those through your meeting, but if you haven't, this question allows you to revisit any concerns the interviewer has. Now that you have an idea of some excellent interview questions to ask when you meet with your possible next company, there are a few queries you should avoid as well. Here are the top 5. Number 1, what is the salary for this role? You probably have this question at the forefront of your mind since it's a concern for every candidate when considering leaving one position and moving to another. Instead of you bringing it up though, wait for the employer to do so. They might discuss it during your screening interview or at any point along the way. Once they have, you can then begin the negotiation if necessary. Number 2, what is the benefit structure like? Just as you don't want to focus on the salary, you shouldn't start launching into a discussion about benefits or time off. If you're taking the job solely for benefits, your priorities are clearly not in alignment with that of the company where you are interviewing. And that's not the impression you want to leave with the hiring committee. Yes, you may need benefits, but that conversation will come up. First, talk about how amazing you will be in the position. The rest will come. Number 3, how flexible are you about hours and where I work? In today's remote and hybrid workforce, it's understandable that you may want a position that allows you to work from home, even if it's just some of the time. However, by asking this question, you may run the risk of giving the impression that you are not fully committed to the company or the role. The job description may have stated if the position is remote or remote eligible, but if you really want to know what the future holds for this role, try asking, as you move forward, will this role continue to be in person, remote, or hybrid? Or do you foresee a change coming down the pike? That puts more weight on the role and the needs of the company as opposed to on what you want. Number 4, how soon can I start to apply to a different position? We get it. You want to gain access to this amazing company you've always dreamed of working for, and this position is the only way you can get in the door. You're chomping at the bit to get into the department that's more aligned with your career goals. It's wonderful that you're passionate about the company, but the person you're meeting with is much more interested in your ability to do the job they are recruiting you for right now, and they don't want to invest time and money in you when you plan to leave soon. Number 5, do you monitor emails or social media accounts? Asking this question could be a huge red flag alert for the hiring committee. What do you have to hide? By talking about this, you're essentially challenging the company to research you more and telling them you're not as trustworthy as they may have thought you were. Avoid this question at all costs. There are several interview questions that you absolutely should be asking as you move through each step of the process on your way to securing a job offer. However, there are nearly as many questions you shouldn't be asking. This list is in no way exhaustive, and you will likely add several other excellent interview questions and even think of others you'll want to avoid. As you prepare for your questions for your phone, video, or in-person interviews, keep these ideas at the top of your mind. Focus on the company and the role you're interviewing for. Remain excited and enthusiastic with forward-thinking questions. Continually share your value by talking about what you can bring to the position, and use the research you conducted beforehand to craft specific questions for each company and each interview. There's no script for a great interview, and you should always be having conversations that feel relaxed for everyone in the meeting. Ask open-ended questions as much as possible and stay positive. Your authentic, engaging self is the person they're interested in hiring.